Hi, good afternoon. This is David Perlman, and this is MS Office Hours. Today is, what is today? Today is Thursday, and it's the 9th of April. With us, we have Steve Winter and Jennifer from Planet, and they'll kind of elaborate on what they'll be covering. So thank you. I'll turn it over to you folks.
Right. Hey, everybody. I'm glad we could join you guys today. We've been super busy since everything's been going on with COVID-19, and we've been talking with Dave and Mark Zunkel over at Microsoft, and they've seen some of the things that we've been doing in the learning and education space. And so my name is Jennifer Mason, and I'm the Vice President for Workforce Transformation and Learning. And so I spent the last 5 or 6 years working with everybody, helping them create out these long, elaborate adoption and learning plans, and then helping them train their users. So when Office 365 comes out, you know how they like to change like buttons from the right side of the screen to the left side of the screen, and they like to give us new features and incorporate all these new things. And I help them train their users on how to use the new technology and bring all these new plans in and help them work and do that. And so when COVID hit, we had a lot of education facilities and universities and schools come to us and say, guess what, we're not going back from spring break, and we have to start teaching online now, and we're going to be using Teams, and we're going to be doing this. Jennifer, can you help us? What should we be doing? What should we be going after and doing it? And so we wanted to put together just some five tips of what we've kind of been telling people, how we've been working with people, and share some examples. So definitely make this interactive if you have any questions. I've got Steve Winter, he's the Vice President of Planet on the East Coast team. I don't know what his official title is, master of all over here at Planet, and he's going to kind of interject in as well. So hopefully the PowerPoint came up again, but if not,
I have not gotten it.
Wow, this wouldn't be the first time that I have. Steve, did you get it?
Yeah, let me try to flush it out here if I can.
That'd be great.
It wouldn't be the first time that I've had to wing it with no PowerPoint. So here we go. All right. So, you guys are probably in the same boat. You guys have probably had a lot of things. Same thing happened to Steve here when he's trying to present. You guys have probably had a lot of things happen in the last couple of weeks where you feel like you're going from 0 to a million, all like in the same moment. So you're going from I'm planning Teams out, I'm doing all of these things with Teams, to immediately going and saying, wow, we have hundreds of thousands of people using Teams, or we've got everyone using Teams now. And we went from 0 to 1,000 very, very quickly. And we've seen this happen with a lot of different customers. And so, like I said, it's kind of the new norm. We're living life in the fast zone. And so the things that we kind of want to talk about, we've got our five steps. And the first piece of advice we can kind of give people, and the thing that we can focus on is the concept of focusing on the here and now, and kind of understanding that, while we do have a super long journey in front of us, and we want everyone to be adopting Teams, and we want everyone to be having this long path towards adoption and using technology and tools, that it's okay to take a pause and to realize that, this isn't normal. It's not normal for everyone to go home from spring break and not go back to school, because that's what happened with my kids. They came home from school. We had a great spring break, and then they didn't go back, and now they're doing online school. Some are using Teams, some are using, and so it's just a little bit crazy, and it's a little bit different. I've actually been coaching some of their teachers. I've been coaching them. It's been a great fun experience there. So what I've been trying to focus on is just to remind people it's okay to live in the moment. And even as trainers, it's okay for us to do that. It's okay to say, yes, I have the super long adoption plan, and I'm going to be getting back to that. But right now, we're kind of taking this pause. And so I'm going to come up with solutions that are going to get us through this pause. And we're going to do what we need to do right in this moment, pushing things out and maybe doing something differently than what I would do if we had a longer term strategy. And I might address tools, and I might bring in tools that maybe I wouldn't bring in if it was longer term, or I might make something available, or I might do something totally differently just because I'm in a new scenario. So those are some of the things there. All right, I see
Steve is trying. Steve, can you share or no?
Yeah, I'm getting the same error.
Okay, so can you send me a link to the document or put it up in OneDrive, or let's get, come on, collaboratively, let's figure this out real quick here, because I have not gotten that email. And I know that I can share. I just want to, if you go in the chat pane and send me a link even, or send the group a link, that way we could.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't get to the chat, but I'll try to send it to you on the side here. Hold on.
Did I have his right email on there, Steve?
I didn't get it either, Jen, to be honest with you. So if you CC'd me, I didn't get it. This is like collaboration in real time, Dave.
This is collaboration in real time. So if you send that to me on the thing that you always bother me about, Steve, when you really want something, and then I get you the answer, and then you never really.
That's so painful and so wrong.
It's usually, hurry up, I need an answer on this thing. And then I give him the answer, and then he doesn't. Okay.
It's all about, isn't it all about helping customers?
It normally is. That's what I'm normally trying to do. So let's see here if I can get to my chat, and we'll see. Sounds like the inability to share screens. Try turning off your video, maybe, Steve, if you could do that and just try that.
Yeah.
I still don't have your. So if somebody sends me a link, I don't want to spend too much time on this if we can't.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to.
Otherwise, just keep chatting, and then we'll. I don't want it to distract from.
Yeah, Jen just sent you a link, Dave.
Okay. I will keep talking away. I won't stop you. Keep going, Jen. Sorry.
All right. The second thing we've really been working on with all of our teachers and all of our educators and our faculty and staff is making training super relevant. And so we've gone in, and one of the things that we've done is that we've been training on very specific tasks. So we've been sending out forums to different users and saying, what do you feel like you need training on? And then we've been giving very narrow, limited micro learning training on it. So we might have a section on, here's 20 minutes to set up your virtual classroom. Maybe it's 5 minutes on it. Maybe it's here, just look up something to say, let me go search on how to set up my virtual classroom. Let me go in and understand how to use feedback and assessments inside of Teams. And so we've spent a lot of time working with the content team that's making our content is all very specific to Microsoft EDU. And so when we go in, all of the training is very specific to Microsoft Teams EDU. And so I think that's very hard to find out in the market to get that content. And I think a lot of when I've been talking to teachers, they get frustrated because they go search on Google and they go search on all these other places, and they drill down in maybe paths of finding content, and then it's not EDU content anymore in Teams, and then they just get confused and frustrated. So we've tried to make our content very specific to the roles and tasks that they would be doing. And so it's setting up the classroom, managing your class, interacting with your students, doing your grades. And so setting up this training so that it's super easy for them to go in and, maybe they want to take a class on how to do something, but maybe they just want to be available on the weekend to look up, how do I input these grades on my mobile phone? How do I do these different tasks and work through these different things? And so we've built the content to be very, very specific and very relevant to the very specific task that they're working on. All right, any luck, Dave?
I did. Yep,
Ooh.
I just got it now.
Yay!
We have to fix those Planet servers. I don't know. I'm opening it up here now, and then you just make a noise, and I'll. Now, what would be more entertaining is if all of a sudden I can't do it, and it's been working all day. All right, here. Let's see. I just have a lot of. Give me one sec here. I just have a lot of different documents open. Golly, business reviews, external. I'm just going to share out my desktop, and I will go from there. There we go. How's that? Can you see that?
Yes, now I can see it. So we are on slide 6. So keep going down just a little bit.
Oh, these were awesome slides.
I know, they're so pretty.
Wow.
All right, so here's a demo. Yeah, so right here, the examples and demos. And so what you see here is we've got a page on specific content. So this is setting up the virtual classroom. So people can go in and they can see, it's a whole 40 minutes or something like that around how do I set up my virtual classroom? How do I do something in here? And they're going to go through different steps. They're going to have exercises that are going to help them reinforce the information that they're learning. And so they're going to be able to go in and get that very, very specific training. So this would be something that if I'm a teacher, I'm just getting started, I can go in, I can take this class, I can complete it, I can know, hey, now I'm ready to use this. While at the same time, I have this ability to go in and do a search on grades. So now it's like, oh, I just need help. I'm putting a grade in. I don't know how to do this one thing. I don't know how these two systems interact together. I don't know how to do this content. And I can go in there and I can search and find that help right in time when I need it. So That's kind of going through step 2. And if anyone has any questions or thoughts or anything like that, go ahead and send them in the chat that I can't see. Dave will tell me, or go ahead and take yourself off mute and chat through them. Well, why not?
No, that's fine. I'm sharing on my desktop right now, Jennifer. So I'm going to log in on another device.
The third thing I'd say is one of the things that's been super helpful is providing training on demand. What we have found is that, providing that once and done training is very difficult in a time like this. When everything is going on like this and things are changing constantly and people feel like things are out of control, having training available becomes a security blanket to them. Having some place where users can go and access a portal of information helps them feel as if they've got all the resources that they need for them. When it's especially customized for your university, your school, your district, it's going to help them realize, wow, they're setting me up to succeed and they're giving me this information. I can go there and I can get that help. And so we want to be able to address them at their time of need, whether that's going to be on the evenings, on the weekends, whether it's during the day in the middle of a class. We want them to be able to go on demand and get that help. So having that centralized training portal when they can always go back to it is going to be one of those key things that's going to provide them that great user experience so that they can go get that. So if you want to scroll down just a little bit, Dave, this is an example of that. And we have two elements of that here. They can really look like anything. It can be, here's an example of our Evolve 365 portal where we have all of our Microsoft Teams for EDU training, but there's also many resources out there. We also have freeteamstraining.com. That's not EDU content, but that is Microsoft Teams content that we have available that you can go get. There's also different resources, microsoftdocs.com. I've heard mixed reviews on some of that. Again, that's where some people didn't love it because it took them away from the EDU specific content, and so they'd get a little bit confused, their users, as they were going through it, which is one of the main reasons that we created this content, giving users that really rich experience where they can go in and just find EDU specific content. Now we are showing on this demo in this example Teams specific content, but we do have content. We have over 60,000 micro learning videos for all of the Microsoft stack. So everything from Windows 10 to Office 365 to Word Desktop to Adobe to really anything. We have all of this content that's in there. So we do have a full catalog of content. It's just for this demo and for the need that we're seeing right now. Most people are really trying to push out Teams and make it out there. So we're trying to make the most content, the most relevant content available. Yeah, go ahead and scroll through.
Quick question, Jennifer. So somebody actually texted me a question, which is fine. Where are you finding is you're getting this rapid adoption of Teams, right? In some cases, there's lots of technical blockers. You get Teams up and running, and they're just trying to get stuff in front of the students and faculty and staff. Where are the couple areas that you key in on, especially with the instructional staff, to use Teams, and what are a couple of the points that you kind of focus on in terms of instruction staff to make sure that they have a rich learning environment? Not always possible, but what are some of the things that you try to focus in on in terms of that from a PD perspective for them?
Well, so I think what we focus on is we focus on getting them up and going first. And then the very next thing that we focus on doing is the continual education for them. So we work on what we call series of learning campaigns and then webcasts and learning webcasts that we do where we're constantly going back to them and teaching them. I think there's going to be a huge rush where it's like, oh my goodness, I have to get all of these classes up there. Please do not tell me that these 10 clicks are here and these 10 clicks are going to make my life faster because I don't have time to even hear about 10 clicks right now. Tell me the 3 clicks I need to do to get this done. But in 2 weeks, once the class is up and going and I'm over that initial rush, yes, please send me an email and tell me how those 3 clicks can now save me time. And so that's really what we kind of do. We take that initial approach. Okay, what's the immediate thing that we have right now? So a lot of it's been help me get the classroom set up, help me communicate with the kids, help me have the assignments going back and forth. Okay, now that we're there, help me do all of that more efficiently. And the way we do that, I think it's even on the next page that you have, the way that we do that is through the continued learning resources. And so we do that through learning campaigns. We send them out typically in a scenario like this in the beginning, we'd probably send them out weekly and then fan it out to probably every 2 weeks or once a month. So it's continuously going to them. It's just like us. If it's out of sight, out of mind, but we send out these nice, very visually formatted emails that say, hey, did you know you could do this? Or did you know this Outlook features here? Did you know this Teams features here? And make them very small tidbits of information so that instead of expecting them to learn all of it in one big thing, we're allowing them to come back piece by piece. We also do things like open office hours. And so, especially in the university space, they're very used to office hours. So, that's when they sit in their office and students can come up there. And so we will, as learning strategists, do these open office hours. Well, they'll be able to come in and just ask us a question, say, hey, I'm doing this process and it's taking too much time, or this is frustrating. How do I make this better? How do I do this? And so we'll spend time working with them that way to do that. And so we really look at doing that from the perspective of, in the beginning, we focus on what's the immediate thing we have to do to get the task done, help them get through that and feel comfortable with it, and then just follow up piece by piece. And because of the tools that we're using, we have integration with Office 365, so they're able to log into the training with their Office 365 login, and then we do a one-way trust with Azure AD, and then we do a one-way trust with the usage reports. So we're able to do a comparison of who is using Office 365 and what they're doing inside of Office 365 in comparison with who's getting training. So we're actually able to go in and do an adoption correlation report to find out, are the users who are doing the training the ones that are consuming the features that we think are relevant for them to be using. And so we're able to drill down to that level of reporting to see what they're doing. So here are just some of the ideas of things that we like to do for people. We will go in and do the webcast. And so we'll go in and do introduction webcast. People are very used to that. Everyone expects that with the rollout. You do here's my 1 hour webcast, intro to what we're doing. We record it, put it on the website later. Hopefully you have Teams working and can share your PowerPoint and do your demo. We have our office hours. We run those inside of Teams. We actually do those internal to Planet. So our own learning strategists do that internal to Planet and just sit there and say, hey, I'm going to be here working. I'm going to be here available. Do you have an internal process? Do you have something that you want help with? How can I help you? We're going to just be here if you need it. And then we also respond to every piece of feedback. And so this one is a fun one. We get a lot of feedback. We just did the largest Google buyback migration. So from Office 365, they were in Google. And they went back to Office 365, and we just completed that migration just a month or so ago. And so we had a lot of feedback coming back in, and everyone was going for the comments. And it was the people, when they hit feedback on training, what we learned was there's like one of three things that are happening. They don't like the product, so they're going to complain about the training, but they'll give you a tidbit of information. They are looking, how do I set my calendar? And they'll give you a 0 on the Excel training because the Excel training didn't teach them how to change their calendar. Or, I couldn't turn my computer on, so I couldn't get the training. So we spent the time to respond to every single one of them and say, hey, here's the training you really needed. Or, hey, here's the feature you really needed. Or, yes, I agree, this feature isn't there yet, but it's coming soon, or something along those lines.
So Jennifer, right? That's a key piece of learning, right? Is again, I was sitting with some students this week, and they had just made the move from one platform to another due to some things that were going on at their school, and so trying to find that immediacy and trying to really get into the analytics. How many folks did you move 4 weeks ago? Just
we wrapped
I don't
up.
need the name of the school.
That one wasn't a school. That one's actually a state. That was a state or a federal agency, and it was several 100,000.
Wow.
And it was a migration over a couple of months. It was
those federal government people. I know. That's why they were using those things for a long time. Got it. No, that's huge, and they're up and running now. And
they're up and running. We even did some special skill tracks for them of. I did it this way in Google Docs. How do I do it in Word? I did it this way in Google Sheets. How do I do it in Excel? So we did very granular training for them that just said, hey, this is what I used to do. This is what I do. It's 5 minutes of training, but it's exactly what I need, very relevant. And people really responded well to that.
Well, and so Jen, one of the things too with that is, we have a military academy that we're working with. They had very good usage on the platform, but of course, then now they're all forced to be work from home as well. So the development of the custom skill track for work from home, because you had all these very confident users who felt like they were very comfortable in their work environment that they have now been moved to this unfamiliar work environment, this unfamiliar place of holding their classes, and all of a sudden they felt lost. And these are a bunch of people who obviously value education, value training
Sure.
in a way that some customers don't. And so they were really hugely engaged and got a ton of benefit. And what we found both with these customers, but in the history of doing this is, it's not the customers that we hear from that are the problem. It's the customers, the end user customers that we don't hear from, right? The ones that are searching the wrong training and getting frustrated, or don't get any training whatsoever and getting frustrated, who feel unproductive, who are now delivering less than adequate classroom experiences to their students because we're not reaching out to them in the best possible way, or not meeting them where they are, which a lot of what this best practice is about how do we meet those people where they are in multiple modes to meet them where they are. And I think in the case of this military academy, it's been unbelievably successful.
Most
Awesome. No, great
definitely.
feedback.
And our last reminder is just to remind people often, we will nag and say, all right, let's send another campaign. Let's do another campaign. Let's highlight new features. Let's teach people how to make their day effective, because we find that, I think Steve's got the number somewhere. He used to say it all the time. I think it's 27 touches before you remember a fact, or remember a brand, or remember a name. And so 21. Okay, I was a few off. But it's just so important to put that out there. And when you're able to go in and start sending a monthly newsletter or a learning campaign or something like that, it shows that, wow, like IT really is supporting me. And when we look at everything that Microsoft is doing, the fact that the new features are constantly coming out. We've got new features. You've mentioned 2 big ones that are coming out that are going to impact the way people are working. And that's going to be backgrounds. That's going to be a big impact to the way people work, because that's going to be something that they're going to want to instruct people how to work with. What are you going to do the first time a student does something? Or what are you going to do? I mean, they're going to just need more information on that. And then when all of a sudden I went from having 4 to now I have 8 users, how does that work? What is that going to mean? How's that going to work in my environment? And so being able to have this solution where you have this training all the time. We have a content team that is updating content weekly. So thanks to Microsoft and their constantly changing content, we are putting out new videos every week. And that includes re-recording videos because you moved a button, or adding new features. And so those are some of the examples of some of the campaigns that we send out. We try to keep a consistent look and feel so someone starts to recognize, oh, if I just click this training, I'll get this. So we left about 6 minutes for questions if anyone has them. We do have, we wanted to share with you guys, we do have a 1-page, I think it's actually 3 pages, but a digital Jumpstart guide that you guys can download for Teams for Education. So this is a PDF version. If you guys want to use that link, you guys can go, and we wanted to make that available for everybody who attended the webcast today, so you guys can go grab that there. And then if you guys are interested in seeing and getting your hands on our training or anything like that, you can sign up for a free trial of Evolve 365 for Microsoft EDU. You can fill out that form and just select EDU in the drop down. And then of course you can contact Steve and I with any questions, and we're more than happy to chat with you guys more, show you guys a demo or anything like that. So I'll open it up for a couple of minutes of questions.
Excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing. So again, it's Jay Mason, MASON at go-planet.com, and swinner at go-planet.com. So I'm going to stop sharing now for a moment, also stop the recording. So thank you. I think it's a very timely message right now. I will also have